Hey guys, welcome. I'm so excited you're here to move today. I'm Caroline, and we're going to focus on hip stuff today. That means strengthening your hips and stretching them out. There's definitely going to be a pigeon pose in your future, so get excited about that. Take out your mat and let's get going. My goal for you is just that we can keep moving fairly quickly. This is an all levels practice, so if there's something that feels too much for you, you can always skip it, and we'll get right started. Okay, to begin with, start on all fours. Find firm grounding through your hands and the tops of your feet. And then bring the low belly up towards your spine. So find that core engagement. Imagine you're pressing a wall away with your arms and shoulders. And same thing with your knees and feet. From this point of strength, start to make some circles. So you're actually circling around the hips, back towards child's pose, moving past the shoulders and the wrists to get a little bit more articulation of the joints. Just kind of moving a little bit to get some fluid going in the joints so that you are ready to move. And this is a good time to start coming into your breath. Breathing and exhaling as you go the other direction. Just take it once or twice, sitting way back, moving at the pace that's right for you. Sometimes you might find a spot where you want to spend a little extra time. Do that if that feels good. Otherwise, you can kind of move smoothly in a circle, moving a little bit into the shoulders even, just getting into the body, starting to embody yourself right now. Tuck your toes, find downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Drop the knees back down. Find your tabletop position. Tuck your left toes and send the left toes back on the mat. And then bring the low belly in, same as we did when both knees were down. Right arm comes to right ear. And then lift your left toes up. Breathe. Find that complete integration across the diagonal of right arm to left toes. Beautiful. And then exhale, bring your knee and your elbow towards each other, curling your spine. Inhale, lengthening it out, super strong leg. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen it out. Exhale, one more like this, bringing it in, knee up higher. Kick it back. Nice. See if you can reach back and grab your foot. If your foot's not accessible, that's okay. Just breathe in this position. If you can grab your ankle or foot, start to kick back. Breathe in. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Release your foot carefully. Nice. Then take the right hand down, flex your left toes, turn your left leg out slightly, and bring your left leg out to the side. Should feel your hip working a lot. Then kick it back, lift the heel up. Just 2 more times like that, kicking your toes towards your shoulder. Try to keep a straight leg. Kick it back. 1 more. Kick it back. Tuck your right toes, find 3-legged dog. Super strong left leg. Breathe. Inhale. And exhale. Bring the foot down, knees come down. Other side, sending right toes tucked back on the mat. Press down through the hands, suck low belly in. Left arm by left ear. Breathe here. And then just effortlessly float that right foot up. Breathe here, integrating across the midline. Nice. Keep it all long and tight. And then exhale, start to bring your elbow in and your knee in. Inhale, lengthen it out. Exhale, curling it in. Inhale, lengthen it out. Last one, bringing it in, hug it in a little bit tighter. Lengthen it out. Nice. From here, see if you might bend the back foot. Bend the back knee rather and grab the foot. And then press into right hand. Breathe here. 2 complete breath cycles. Nice. Try to keep your left hip pulling in. And then very carefully release long. Take left hand down, but keep that right leg up. Turn the toes out, like so. And then bring the foot forward as far as you can. You might not come very far. That's totally okay. Just try to keep it straight. Exhale. Squeeze it forward. And one more time. Squeeze it forward. And then turn the heel back up. Tuck back toes. Kick back. 3-legged dog. Breathing. You should start to be warming up. We're using the core, the legs, the hips, now the arms a little too. Bring your foot down, find child's pose. Take 2 deep breaths into the back body. Just melt down into the mat. You've already started your practice. You've arrived. See if you can just let go. Let any thoughts or stresses just dump into the mat from the forehead. Imagine everything just pouring out. And one more breath here, and then start to make your way to downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale your left leg up. Exhale, bring it through. Drop the right knee down. Find a low lunge position, lifting the arms. Low belly lifts, breathing. Nice. And then release the hands down. Tuck back toes, step back, plank. Hold your plank for one big inhale. And then exhale, if you're ready, chaturanga, or otherwise come down to your knees, take half chaturanga. Find baby cobra. Press back, find down dog. Nice. Inhale, right leg lifts, take your time. Exhale, bringing it through. Left knee drops down. Lift your arms up by your ears. Breathe. Low belly, gently pulling in. Press down through your left knee to find a little more lift. And then release the hands down. Tuck the back toes. Step forward. Find forward fold. You can bend the knees if you feel a little tight. No problem. Shake the head out, yes and no. And then lift up. Find a flat back. Fold forward. Take your hands to your hips. Come all the way up to stand. Nice. So now we'll start moving a little bit more quickly. Now that we're warming up, bend your knees, find chair pose, sun B. Breathe. Lower down. Inhale, half lift from Uttanasana, and then step back, plank. Take your time, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Breathing. Nice. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, bring it forward. Come up to a high lunge. Nice. And then take your arms out in front of you. And you're going to exhale, squeeze your left knee down towards the mat, bending it, and lift the low triangle of the belly up towards your ribs. So finding a little bit more lift in the lower part of the body rather than arching. And then straighten the leg out, extend your arms forward, bring it in, exhale. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze it in. You should feel a bit of a hip flexor stretch in the front of the left hip. Breathe, exhale. Inhale, arms by your ears. Open your arms out wide and then release the hands down. Step back, your chaturanga or vinyasa. Moving into up dog and downward facing dog. Nice. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, bring it through. Gently come up, high lunge. Find stability with your feet. Make sure you have hips width distance so you're not on a tight rope. Then bring your arms forward. Exhale, right knee bends down, finding that nice deep stretch, scooping the tail gently Nice. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Squeeze it in. One more like that. Exhale. Arms by your ears, straight back leg. Find a little more height in the spine and then open the arms out to the side. Stepping back, downward facing dog. Nice. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knees. Hop forward or walk. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, find chair pose. Nice. And from your chair pose, sit down a little lower and a little lower still until you come all the way down to the mat. Nice. From here, from just a few breaths, balance in Navasana, scooping low belly and trying to find some length in the low back. You can always extend your legs straight for a little bit more of a challenge. And then you're going to bring your feet down. Make sure you have enough space on your mat. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. And then you're going to walk your hands towards your hips as close as possible. So you sit up nice and tall. And you'll just breathe here. You might rock even a little side to side. All of us have a lot of stuff stored in the hips, and many of us have super tight hips from sitting all day. So, this is a great one to do before bed as well, or in the morning. You can do it also at your chair if you're sitting up. Just this figure 4 stretch is really great for the outer hip. Nice. From here, walk your hands back just another inch or two. We're going to take an upward tabletop. Lift the hips up. And lower back down. From here, cross your right leg completely over the left, and then come back down to your elbows. Squeeze your legs in towards each other, and then lower down all the way to your back. Take your hands, interlace them behind your head, and then you're going to exhale. Bring your knees and your elbows towards each other. Eagle legs. And release it back. Just a few more like that. Getting in deep. See if you can release the knees out slightly. 2 more. And 1 more. Nice. And then bring your knees into your chest for a moment. Rock side to side. And then maybe forward and back. And come back up. Lovely. Other side, crossing left ankle across right thigh. Make sure you're really flexing that left foot and ankle so that you are protecting your knee joint. So first we just walk in as close as we can. Just trying to prop ourselves up. And again, you can take a little rock. Yeah, keep it gentle. We haven't done a lot of outer hip stuff yet, so it's kind of early. And just give the body some time. It's not about forcing ourselves into some sort of shape. You might be pretty far back, and that's cool too, right? The main thing I'm looking for is try to keep your back straight rather than rounding it. Breathe. Excuse me, 1 more breath here. And then take your fingertips back behind you, pointing forward. Lift your hips up. Deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Lower the hips down. And then cross for eagle legs. Come back to your forearms and then all the way to the floor. Bring your arms behind you, hands support your head. You might find that double cross or just be single crossed in your eagle legs. Extend the knees back away from you a little bit, almost so the toes can touch, and then squeeze it in. Breathing, exhale. Inhale. Exhale on the curl, exhale, inhale on the lengthening. 1 more. Nice. Knees come into chest. Rock forward and back. Rock forward and back several times. And then land on your feet. See if you can stand up to chair pose. Getting enough momentum. It's kind of fun to try. Makes you feel like a kid again. And then press into your feet. Lift up, baby back bend. And then bring the palms back together at your heart. Lovely. So from here, we're going to open up into Warrior Two practice. So come a long way on your mat. Find a Warrior Two position. Right toes pointing forward, left toes coming slightly, or if I'm mirroring you, left toes pointing forward and right toes pointing forward at a slight angle. All right, take your arms out to the side and then take your arms forward for a moment. So normally, this is our Warrior Two. We're going to come to a little bit more of a twisted version. And I want you to imagine you're holding a block. And if you have a block at home, that's great. You can use one. Imagine you have one of those yoga blocks between your hands and you're pushing in. Nice. Fire up your outer shoulders and start to notice what's happening in your hips. So keep your arms as is, but I'm going to show you one of the things that will happen is we have a tendency to kind of knock out our outer buttocks. You want to actually lift up first, rotate that under, and get that all wrapped around so that you're here, not here, right? So we have a tendency to kind of be a little bit lazy in that engagement. There's actually a lot of work happening in the hips here. So really find that wrapping of the outer buttocks. You might have to come up a little bit. It's not all about being straight, flat down. Half of it is what work are you doing? How are you getting in and around there? Nice. One more breath here. Then open your arms up. Flip your right palm or your left palm, reach forward and back. Reverse warrior. Nice. Bring it forward. Find side angle pose. Nice. Inhale, lift up. Straighten the left leg. And then, or whichever leg is in front, and then reach forward. Come into triangle pose. If you have a block, it's a great time to use your block. You can also use your hand on your shin. Breathing. Same thing. Can you notice what's happening with that left outer hip, that front hip? Is it wrapping back or is it sticking out? Get it under if you can. Nice. From there, take your top arm to your hip. Start to bend your front foot, your front knee rather, and come forward for Ardha Chandrasana. Lifting the back foot up and maybe floating that upper arm back up to a T shape. Same thing. Are you using that outer glute and wrapping it back? Press down through your right big toe or your left big toe, whichever's in front, whichever's your standing foot. And then bend the knee again. Come back, Warrior Two. Beautiful. From here, turn your front toes in and then both toes out again. Coming into Goddess stance. Take your arms out to the side and then wrap your arms, left elbow underneath the right for eagle arms. Sit down low. And we'll lean over to the right and take a brief circle forward, over to the side and up and other way. Lifting up and release the arms, switching sides. Right elbow crosses underneath. If it's hard for you to get this wrap, you can take your arms across your shoulders as well. And then going over to the left first, forward and around. And switching directions. Nice. Release your arms. And then turn side. So for most of you, it'll probably be your right foot facing out, right side, Warrior Two. Same thing as the other side. Bring your arms together. Imagine you're holding a block and engage your low belly. All right, same as we did on the other side. Lift up a little higher and really engage that outer right hip, if that's your front side, back and down. So instead of sticking back, we're really upright and under ourselves. Breathe. And one more breath here. Imagine pressing in and then arms out. Nice. Flip the front palm, reach back. Reverse your warrior. big breath in. And coming up. And coming forward to side angle. Take your arm over your ear. Same thing, try to get that outer hip under you. And lifting up. Start to straighten the front leg, maybe bringing the back foot in a little bit, shortening the stance slightly for triangle pose as you reach the hips back and away from you. Take your time. Coming down to either your fingertips on the floor, your hand on your shin, or your hand on a block. Nice. From here, take your top hand to your hip. Reach forward in front of your front foot and find Ardha Chandrasana, lifting and squeezing the back leg, also squeezing standing hip. And gently bend the front knee, reach it back, warrior two. Turning the front toes in, and then turning both heels out one last time, finding goddess pose. Interlace the fingers, palms up, low belly in, sit down a little lower. Same thing here, both of those outer hips are moving down and back, not Beyonce style. We're just getting underneath. Think more ballerina than Beyonce. Breathe. All right. And stretch the legs, release your arms. Heel toe your feet together. And we'll come into a figure four sequence. So I'm going to start on this side, but so come to the top of your mat, but I'm going to face you. You're going to take your left leg up and cross the ankle over the right thigh. Take your hands to your hips, sit back, take your time. We also kind of have a tendency to steer in different directions here. Sit straight back. Whoop. And you play with your balance here as you sit back. You should feel a good outer hip stretch in the left side. If you'd like, you can bring your hands down to the floor or a block for a little deeper stretch. If you'd like, you can take Galavasana and take a flying arm balance if you know the pose. Otherwise, don't worry about it. We'll get into that another day. Take your hands to your hips. Start to stack yourself back up and bring your left knee into your chest. Nice. Breathe. Beautiful. And then you're just going to step back to a high lunge position. Nice. From high lunge, take your hands inside the front foot. Drop the back knee down. And you might want to heel toe the front foot forward a little bit and then turning it out slightly. And if you have space, you can reach forward, kind of like a mini down dog, or you can bring your elbows down for lizard pose, really stretching the hip flexors and breathing here. One more deep breath. Melting down into the mat. Walk your hands back slowly. And stay nice and upright. See if you can bend the back knee if you have space. And then reach your right arm over and see if you can grab the back foot and bring it in. Nice. You can bend the elbow and maybe spin a little bit more. One more big breath in and release it back. Step back, downward dog. Bend your knees, either hop or walk forward. Feet come to meet the hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Hands to hips, come all the way up. Nice, we'll take the other side. So this time you're going to take your left ankle across, sit back. Is it the same side we just did? Might be. You're going to take your right ankle across, sitting back, steering the hips back. And just have a sense of humor with your balance here. Sometimes our hips are a little touchy. And maybe reach down to the floor. If you don't want to reach down to the floor, you are perfect staying right where you are, but keep reaching that chest nice and long so you have a long back, and keep sitting your hips back towards the ground. Breathing here. Again, if you want to take Galavasana and fly away, go for it. Start to stack everything back up. Deep breathing. Gently coming up, and lift the right knee up. And step back. Find your high lunge. Breathe. And then bring your hands down inside the front foot. Lower back knee down. And then turn the front foot out. Knee is turned out, if you can see. And then come down to your forearms. Breathe. Slow the breath. Soften everything. Breathe wherever you feel tension. Slowly start to walk your hands back. Sit up nice and tall, and maybe consider bending the back knee, reaching back with the left arm and grabbing the right foot. Might bend the elbow if you have space. And gently release it out. Step back. Downward facing dog. Nice. From here, inhale your right leg up. Exhale, bring it forward for pigeon pose. For pigeon, you're going to want to keep your back toes tucked under like this just for a few moments as you get into it. And then you're going to want to bring your right shin as close to parallel as possible, but recognize that for most of us, we're not so close to that yet, and that's really okay. It's more about protecting the hip and being in a position that you can actually soften into as opposed to feel pain in. The reason we tuck the back toes under is it allows us to kind of steer the hips forward a little bit more. And then once you are comfortable there, you might squeeze the knees in towards each other to find a little bit of action in the muscles as you then release it out. And then you can maybe let the back toes go flat. Walk your way forward. Stack your hands and make a pillow for your head. And just breathe into the stretch. And just continue the breath cycle. Breathing into any points of tension or pain. We want to avoid pain, but we are going to feel some muscle stretch that can be pretty deep in the outer right glute. So that's normal. Breathe with that. Nice. Just a few more breaths here. If you'd like, you can extend your right arm out in front of you and take your left hand in that space between and start to create a little bit of a twist for yourself. Sometimes that deepens the stretch in the outer right hip a little bit more. Maybe your elbow or shoulder comes down. If not, no worries. Just stay forward. And then very slowly, wherever you are, start to walk your hands back. Bring your hands back so far so that it comes they come in line with your hips. And then tuck the back toes and scoot the back knee in just an inch or two. This is going to allow us to come up a little bit higher. And I'm going to ask you to engage your knees towards each other so that your thighs are pulling and scissoring towards each other a little bit. You can take your right hand on your right thigh, or if you have blocks, this is a great moment for a block in front of you or 2 blocks on sides of you. But if you don't have one, no worries, you can use your leg itself. You're going to bend your back knee and grab it with your left arm. And you can bend the elbow in, maybe start to turn the elbow up towards the ceiling if you have the space to do so. And then from here, keep sucking lower belly in and turning yourself forward. Just breathe here, deep stretch. A lot going on. Hips are both working and stretching at the same time. Lengthen the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Release the toes. Tuck the toes. Step back, down dog. Just pedal out a little from side to side. And breathe. Nice. And from here, you'll lift the left leg up and bring it forward for pigeon. Keep the right toes tucked under. And walk your hands back a little bit. Take a moment to engage the legs towards each other, lifting up. And from there you can soften, releasing the top of the foot down, trying not to sickle the foot out to the side, but keep that outer shin engaged and pulling in. And you might come down, resting your head. And keep breathing. If you did so on the other side, you might extend the left arm out in front of you and then kind of walk your fingers through the space and start to twist a little bit, releasing and maybe turning a little bit into the upper back. Should help give a little bit of a deeper stretch in the left outer hip. And wherever you are, start to walk yourself back. Come back and maybe bring the shin in a little bit closer to you as you tuck the back toes and inch forward a little bit. So we're trying to create a little bit of a smaller base so that we can actually engage our legs towards each other. So from there, press down with the left hand on the left thigh and then bend your right knee, reach back. And first, just see if you can, not fall over for one, but you want to try to grab the foot or ankle and then bring the foot in a little bit closer. If you have space and your shoulder is open enough, you can turn the fingertips forward and start to turn the shoulder more forward. Now it's a pretty deep stretch, so breathe, use your breath to track your way through the pose. And slowly release it out and come back to down dog. Nice. From here, just lower the knees down, sit off to the side, and send your legs straight forward. I'm going to move at a diagonal right now, just so you can see me a little bit better. Bring your right knee into your left thigh and open it up a little bit wider. So you're not in a straight 90 degrees, you're a little bit wider than that. Reach over to grab your left foot or ankle, and then take your right arm over your ear. Breathe into the space between the ribs on the right side. And then come up, plant your right hand down, just in line with your right hip, and then stretch up, stretch the front of the hip, and lower down. Nice, switch sides. Keep it pretty open. Then reaching over to the right side, nice big side bend, inhales into the space between the ribs, all right here. Keep breathing. Lift up, left hand comes down, sweep your right arm forward and over your ear, stretching the front of the hip, and release it down. Nice. From here, just take your feet together, Baddha Konasana. From there, start to lean forward, but only go as far as you can keep your spine straight. And gently coming up, grab the outsides of the knees and come to the middle of your mat. Take your hands behind your thighs, roll back. Nice. And we'll come to bridge pose. Just one bridge pose, lifting your hips up, press into your feet. Imagine you have a block between your inner thighs that you're squeezing gently in, and you might interlace the fingers and roll the shoulders underneath you to push yourself up a little bit higher. Breathing in and out through the nose, slow it down. Test lifting your toes up and see if you're really pushing down through the feet, through all four corners of both feet. And then you can release the toes back down, but keep the hips up. And one more big breath in here. Inhale. Exhale. Release your arms and slowly lower down. Bring your knees into your chest. Just rock a little side to side. Take some circles of the knees, just massaging out the low back. And from there, we'll just take an easy twist to each side. You're welcome to take another variation if you'd like, but we'll take the simple version. You just take your knees, drop them over to the right side, and then turn your head maybe a little bit to the left. Arms are in a T. Both shoulders are on the mat. Just release any gripping. So you might notice, oh, my right hip is gripping a little, or my left thigh is gripping. Try to release that. You want this to be a very passive position. And carefully bring the knees back to center and just let them fall over to the left and turning the head gently to the right. Same thing. Notice, are you holding on to tension in your feet, your ankles, maybe your jaw or your eyes? Wherever you have any gripping, let it go. Let the breath settle down. And very carefully bring the knees back. One last squeeze in. See if you can grab your heels and squeeze everything in. Bring your head up as high as possible. Kiss your knees. And exhale. Release for Shavasana. Let your legs fall long on the mat. Let your arms open up and let the breath leave the body as you move into your Shavasana. The body is heavy. Bones are heavy. Everything softens down, melts down into the floor. Just surrender to gravity and let the eyes be heavy. Start to deepen the breath. Feel the belly rise and fall on the inhale and the exhale. Gently move the fingers and toes and ankles and wrists. Maybe the head and neck gently side to side. And taking your time, bring your knees up and then turn onto your right side. Carefully press yourself up and find a final seated position, cross-legged or kneeling. And we bring our hands to our heart. And we take a moment to reflect and think about how we move forward with the rest of our day, having had this practice. What can be different? What can you take with you that's something that goes off of the mat? Namaste. Thanks for joining. You guys rock.